Chicago for a few days on a business trip, so I'm all alone. Did you just hear that? Well, anyway, thanks for calling, and I would like to have lunch with you tomorrow, and then you can tell me some more about Draper. So we'll talk then, okay? I'll see you. Bye-bye.
Replacement for your local newsboy. And while I was collecting, I just thought I'd stop up to see what you're like. As far as I can see, fashionable, beautiful, and very desirable.
I didn't even know she was alive.
Please. Please, you can have anything you want. Just take it and go away.
I'd love to, Charlie. But there's nothing to take down here. You know, this job is a lot more difficult than I ever intended. And you can make it a lot easier for me if you just take me for a little tour upstairs. Now. The first place you can take me is your bedroom. We'll see what we've got to take there.
Sammy Wheaton did grab Raven's purse, but apparently some civilian came to her rescue.
Really? I didn't know there were any heroes left.
Well, neither did I, but apparently that's what happened. Anyway, he caught up with Sammy and gave her purse back. That's why she didn't report it, I guess.
I see. That's why you decided that you just had to go out and see.
I was only doing my duty, Calvin.
Yeah, nothing more, right?
Hey, remember, she's a married woman.
Yeah, so, where was the blushing bridegroom?
Well, apparently they went out of town. He took his green-eyed monster with him. I guess she was home alone. Well, maybe that's why she was so nervous.
I thought you said she looked fine.
Well, she looked fine, but she sounded kind of shaky. I don't know. Maybe it's just my imagination.
Or maybe you're just looking for some excuse to go back out there.
No way. I need some sleep. I've been on duty for 16 hours. In fact, I'm going to leave you with my check.
Figures.
Try to stay out of trouble, okay?
Yeah.
We'll see. Ciao. Hello, counselor.
Detective Tyler.
Oh, if you're looking for Detective Stoner, he's right there.
I really wasn't looking for anyone, but now that you pointed him out to me. Hello, Mr. Stoner. Calvin.
Well, hello, Miss Bannister. Dee Dee.
Is Detective Tyler coming back, or may I join you?
No, by all means, have a seat.
Thank you.
Would you care for a cup of coffee?
Considering the lateness of the hour, I think hot chocolate would be better.
Well, me, I've got to stay awake. I'm on duty. Elise?
Yes, Calvin.
Would you get some hot cocoa for the lady here? Anything else?
No, thank you, that's all.
You bet.
So, how are you doing? How's the arm? I notice you're not wearing your sling anymore.
Well, actually, it's healing quite nicely.
Good, my client will be glad to hear that.
Oh, well, I'm glad to be able to make your client happy. The next time you visit the penitentiary, you give him my best regards.
Tell me, how's your wife doing? Cliff tells me she's on tour or something?
Yeah, she's got a singing engagement in San Francisco.
Oh, gee, it's a shame she couldn't get something in Monticello. I'd really like to hear her sing sometime.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and, gee, I guess you wish you were singing in Monticello, too. You must miss her terribly.
Okay, counselor, okay. I give up. What's all the small talk about?
Gee, I just thought we were making pleasant conversation over coffee and, the hot chocolate.
Miss Bannister, do I have to remind you that we have never had a pleasant conversation? And suddenly you waltz in here and start chatting away like we're the best of old friends.
Well, maybe we should be. I mean, we don't have to be on opposite sides, do we? The police and the legal profession do have a common interest. I don't see why we have to be adversaries.
You made us adversaries the day you walked into my office with that first client of yours, whatever his name was.
Oh, by the way, did I tell you about how well he's doing?
Now,
about
that
the wonderful
won't
new
be
job?
necessary. Just tell me who the new client is.
I beg your pardon?
Well, that is what all this is about, right? I mean, you're gonna defend some new punk, and I bet I'm the one who pinched him.
Well, as a matter of fact, yes.
I should have known.
His name is...
That's okay, let me tell you. He's the guy who shot the liquor store proprietor. Am I right?
Yes, he did shoot the proprietor, but it was accidental as a result of a struggle for the gun.
Oh, Miss Bannister, come on, save it for the jury. I was there, remember? Don't talk to me about accidental shooting.
Now, as I understand it, you weren't actually present at the time of the shooting. You chased the alleged perpetrator after he left the liquor store.
At which point the alleged perpetrator hit me on my alleged head with the alleged gun that he was carrying.
It was the proprietor's gun. My client was not carrying a weapon.
Oh, I'll remind him of that. I'm sure he'll feel much better knowing that he was shot with his gun as opposed to a stranger's.
Now, wait a minute. I am not saying that my client is innocent. And I am not saying that he does not deserve punishment.
Oh, it's a beginning. So what are you saying?
I'm going to recommend that he plead guilty. This is his second offense, but the first was as a juvenile, so I'm simply going to ask for the mercy of the court.
Okay, so what do you need from me?
Nothing. And that's not why I was being nice to you, if that's what you think.
Well, the thought had crossed my mind.
Of course you will have to give testimony. And the way you tell your story might have an effect on the court's decision for
Miss
clemency.
Bannister, what could that mean? I mean, how can I tell my story except straight out?
You know good and well that there are many different ways of giving testimony. For example, you don't have to make it sound like it's the crime of the century, now do you?
I see. So you just want me to sort of soften it a little, especially when I get to the part about being hit on the head?
No, I just want you to show a little compassion. I'm sure under that tough exterior you can be a very compassionate man. You know I think I will have something else after all. Blueberry pie. Care to join me? It's my treat.
And as it turned out, I didn't even get a chance to work on the scripts. Poor Geraldine was seated behind her desk, drowning in a sea of budget figures, so I offered to help out a little bit. Do you know I'm very fast with a calculator?
You are? Good. And I'm sure that Geraldine appreciated the help.
She certainly did.
Oh, I'm glad that you took Valerie home because she seemed a little disturbed with all the talk about her father tonight.
Yeah, there was even more talk this evening, wasn't there? Did you see that piece on the news?
Yes, I did, and so did she.
You talked to her since then?
Yeah. Did you and she talk any further about Mike's idea, you know, those numbers in your father's letter?
Yeah, we did just a little bit. And we certainly agree that there is some significance to those numbers. And why not a Swiss bank account? After all, Switzerland's where her father founded that clinic.
Yeah, it does seem plausible.
You know, I had an idea tonight when I was working on those budget figures.
What was that?
Well, if there is a numbered account, it might be very difficult to trace from this country, but how about Draper Scott and that investigating team of his?
That's a good idea. That's an excellent idea. I mean, they're trying to find out everything they can about Dr. Bryce, and they certainly should have this information.
And they should be able to trace any numbered bank account by just making a couple of phone calls to the right people.
Right. And who knows? I mean, if there's enough money in that account, Valerie might turn out to be a very wealthy young lady.
Yeah. How about that? And she'll have all the guys in Monticello hanging around her.
Office. Before, whenever a client would ask me a question and I didn't know the answer, I could always say, oh, my partner, Draper Scott, handles that part of the business. Now, I have to pretend I know everything.
You mean you don't?
No, I don't know everything. I know practically everything.
Oh, I see.
You know, I did finish 5th in my class at law school.
Congratulations. How many in the class? 6?
I deserve that. It's wonderful to have someone to trade insults with. I mean, I spar with Dee Dee Bannister. She's the lady lawyer who's renting out the office space. But she's fresh out of law school. She has so many blinding ideals. I have to wear sunglasses around the office. She's a nice kid, though. She worships me.
I'm sure she does.
Oh, well, I've helped her out. I've thrown some work her way, help her pay the rent.
That's nice of you, Cliff.
I'm nice. All this stuff doesn't bore you?
No, of course not. I am tired, though.
Oh, that's my cue. I'll go. I have a habit of making people tired.
Cliff, it's not you. I'm very grateful for your coming by, though. It was thoughtful of you.
Well, I heard there was going to be that broadcast about your father. I didn't want you to have to face it alone.
Yeah, I hope it's the last broadcast.
Well, just in case it isn't, you know, I could always come by and hold your hand. Well, I didn't mean literally. I mean, I really didn't hold your hand.
No, but you made me feel a lot better.
Thanks. It doesn't have to be a TV show either. It could be a movie. You like movies?
Yes?
Great. I'll call you. Your phone number is 555-6363. Got that from detective novels, you see. First thing a good detective always does when he comes into a strange room is copy the number off the phone, especially when the strange room belongs to a beautiful woman.
But a good detective would get the number right, Cliff. 6362.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I better go.
Thanks again. Good night.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes?
Do you kiss on the first date?
Sometimes.
Great.
This isn't the first date, Cliff.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You didn't even know I was coming over. Well, I have something to look forward to. I'll call you. I have your number. Am I going too fast for you, Valerie?
Good night.
Going too fast for you, Valerie? What's the matter? Am I going too fast for you, Valerie?
Mr. Whitney, I think you're unsafe at any speed.
You're really an old-fashioned girl, aren't you, Val?
That depends on your definition of old-fashioned. If it means a girl who doesn't throw herself in a man's arms 15 minutes after they meet, well...
Sometimes 15 minutes is enough to make that kind of a decision. In my case, 30 seconds did it.
Should I be flattered or insulted?
Well, that depends on your definition of me.
I think I could probably sum you up in about 2 words. The first would be spoiled, and the second would be rotten.
Now you sound like my Aunt Geraldine.
So you do have a family.
Oh, yes. Auntie Geraldine. You know, I haven't seen the old Valkyrie in about 10 years. But I'm sure she hasn't changed a bit. And how about your family?
I have one.
Yes. And something tells me they're very strict with you.
No, I'm very strict with myself.
You know, my friend Jeff Brown told me something of your father.
How in the world does Jeff Brown know anything about my father?
Why, your father is a famous man in this part of the world, Val. Come on, don't you realize that?
He's a well-known surgeon.
Yes, but he's not any kind of a surgeon, is he? Dr. Bryson's a plastic surgeon.
So?
Well, that clinic he has in Lucerne, it has quite a reputation. In fact, Jeff tells me that it's the kind of place one goes to when one's got plenty of money and plenty of trouble.
I don't think I know what you're talking about.
Not only is your father reputed to be a fine surgeon, he seems to be very, let's say, discreet. Never asks questions.
Meaning what, exactly?
I'm sure you know what I mean, Precious. A man with a skill like your father's, able to change people's faces, he might be able to perform some very valuable services to certain types.
Criminal types. Is that what you're implying?
Well, that's a question of definition. I mean, why not political types? People who feel threatened with assassination? Look, I'm sure his clientele is quite varied. Well, that's what Jeff says.
Meaning my father is a criminal, performing illegal operations on criminal types and the like?
Darling, I didn't say it. Jeff said it.
Oh, well, will you give Jeff something for me, please?
What's this?
It's my husband's study.
It's locked.
Yes, he keeps it locked.
Where's the key?
He has it.
You're lying.
I'm not lying. He has the key. He doesn't want me in there.
People don't lock up things unless they're valuable. It's all right. I'll unlock it my way. Papers. Nothing but papers and junk. Downstairs.
Geraldine, it's gonna be okay. He's gonna go away and I'll get you an ambulance. It's not too late.
Wall safe. That's where the ransom's kept. A wall safe. Rich people always have wall safes. Now, where is it?
I don't know where...
Oh. The picture. I bet you it's behind this picture. Nothing at all. You were right, Mrs. Whitney. You were telling me the truth. I guess there's nothing more to this job but the dessert. I promise. This won't hurt a bit. Good night, dear heart. You were telling me the truth. You were telling me the truth. I guess there's nothing more to this job but the dessert. I promise. This won't hurt a bit.
Oh, God. You're gonna kill me.
Good night, dear heart. Everything is fine now. Okay. He's dead. I killed the man.
Sky, how did you get here?
I flew. I took a private jet. I just couldn't stand being separated from you, honey, so I came home. And I saw there was a car parked in the driveway to one side, and then there was Geraldine's car out front.
Oh, God, Geraldine, she's hurt. She might be dead.
Did he, shoot her?
I don't know.
And I figured that, something was wrong, so I got the gun from the garage and,
We have to call somebody. We have to call the police or an ambulance.
Yeah.
Yeah, hello, this is Skylar Whitney calling. I'm calling from my home. There's been an attempted burglary and a shooting. Please get an ambulance here as soon as you can. Please hurry.
Problem is, how do you tell a wife something like that? That it isn't vital to produce a child in your marriage. I certainly wouldn't love her any the less if we couldn't have one.
Yeah, but you've already got a son.
Yeah, exactly. You see, an Adam could not be any more my son if I were the biological parent. But Nicole seems to think that I want a toddler of my own running around the place. Well, speaking of that, better do some toddling of my own. Nicole should be through in a few minutes. thank you very much for the coffee, for letting me spend the time of day with you, or night with you.
Ah, what are you talking about? It's my pleasure. You know I don't do much socializing after hours.
Yeah, well, that's your fault.
I know.
You know what, you ought to make a late New Year's resolution. Stop spending so much time in this office or in the TCR room or wherever it is you spend those 16-hour days of yours.
I'll do that.
Oh, heck you will. Probably just go on doing exactly as you please and get crabbier and crabbier with every passing day.
My officers wouldn't think that's even possible. They think I've already reached the apex of crabbiness.
Yeah, well, a good woman would take care of that, even a bad one.
Well, I've already had an experience with the bad one. Which reminds me, how is Monticello's newest fun couple? Mallory.
Chief, it's Stoner. Something's come in I think you ought to know about. It's a homicide and housebreaking all in the same place.
Why would I want to know about it?
Because the place is the Whitney Mansion.
What?
It just came in. There's one person dead, one person injured. The ambulance is on the way.
Who's dead?
Well, the dead man is the would-be burglar, tentatively identified as Albert Slade, a.k.a. Romeo.
Who's wounded?
Well, Mrs. Geraldine Saxon received a head injury. The severity of it is not yet determined.
All right, what about Raven? Was she there?
Oh, Raven's there, all right, but she's fine. That woman could walk through an avalanche and come out unscratched.
All right, you handling this personally?
Well, Coleman took the squeal, but I'm sure he'd be willing to switch off.
Good, I want you on this. Meet me down the garage in 5 minutes. I'm going out there with you. There's been trouble at the Whitney Mansion.
Yeah, I heard you mention Raven.
Raven's all right. Geraldine Saxon was injured.
Oh, my God, what happened to her?
I don't know. Obviously, she got in the way of a burglar or somebody. The burglar's dead.
I'm coming to you.
I thought you had to meet Nicole.
I'll call her from there.
All right, come on.
Kelly, you ought to turn in.
And Nancy, you're a really easy person to talk to, you know that?
Flattery will get you nowhere.
No, really. You have a special way of listening to someone, like you're really concerned about what they're saying.
Well, I am, as long as I care about the people.
I know I always feel better after having talked to you.
Is there something you'd like to talk about right now?
Well, yeah, I guess there is, but I don't really know how to describe it. I think it's more of a feeling.
Why don't you try?
I don't think that anyone understands the relationship between me and Jody and Gavin and how it wound up.
I see.
Hey, it's too late to get this heavy, Nancy.
No, please. I know that entire experience was difficult for you. You and Jody had meant a good deal to each other for a while.
But you see, you and Mike and Jody and Gavin are all concerned about my feelings. The pain you think I feel.
Because we care about you.
But I don't feel pain. The truth is, I saw a change coming in my relationship with Jody for some time now. And not just because of Gavin.
I see.
So I really have no reason to feel hurt at all.
Well, good. Terrific. I'm glad you feel that way. In fact, I guess I was kind of hoping that was the case.
Well, it is. So everyone can just relax, okay?
Well, just one question.
Of course.
When did things start to change between you and Jody?
Have you ever fallen in love with a man you've never seen? Sounds silly, doesn't it? He was at my father's hospital in Switzerland.
Jim? I came to say goodbye.
It's really true. You're leaving me.
Don't say that. I'm not leaving you. I'm going back to school. This is my last semester. I'll graduate in June.
That seems like 100 years from now.
I'll have holidays in between. I'll be back Easter.
Yeah. But I won't be here.
No, you won't. Well, I guess you're getting pretty excited about getting out of here. Getting those bandages off.
Oh, yeah, you bet I am.
I really don't see how you've stood it all these weeks.
It's because of you. You made it tolerable.
Well, I'm glad I could help. That I was a distraction for you.
Oh, Valerie. You've been more to me than that. You know what you've meant to me, don't you?
Well, it's meant the same to me. Having you to be with and to talk to. It's meant so much to me. Especially since my father can hardly find 10 minutes to acknowledge that I'm alive.
You feel very much alive to me. It's terrible, isn't it? To feel the way that I do about a woman, to hold her in my arms and yet not to be able to kiss her.
The bandages will come off in 2 weeks for good.
Yeah. But you won't be here in 2 weeks to kiss.
Well, where will you be? What are you gonna do?
Oh, I'll go away. I don't know where. I haven't lived in one place for so long. I don't really know where home is.
Will you write to me? You know where my home is.
Yeah.
Promise.
I promise.
And send me a picture. I want to know what you look like. It would be awful to meet you on the street and not recognize you.
Well, you might not like the face under these bandages.
I like the man under those bandages. I'm sure I'll like the face, too. Jim, promise me. You won't forget.
I won't forget, darling. Don't worry about that. I won't forget. I promise.
Valerie, people don't always keep their promises.
Honey, listen, why don't you go upstairs and rest now? I mean, you're practically in a state of shock. Now, they're going to be here soon. They're going to be asking a lot of questions. So why don't you go and lay down? It's going to be quite an ordeal.
Can I go upstairs and hide under the covers? I thought I was dead.
Oh, honey, if that had happened to you, if anything had happened to you, I wouldn't want to have lived.
Oh, Sky.
Oh, honey, I've never realized just how important you are to me. You're the most important thing in my whole life.
When I was talking to April on the telephone, because I knew that someone was downstairs. I had heard this click.
Here, take that.
I heard this click on the telephone. And it was the same sound that happens when someone's on the extension downstairs. And at first I thought it was Chrissy, that she came back for something. But then I turned around and there he was standing there. And he was the very same man that was so nice to me and caught that thief that stole my pocketbook. And I even had a drink with him.
You had a drink with him?
Yes. Oh, God, I feel like such an idiot. I bought him a drink because he was so nice to me, and he got my purse back. And it had all the money that you gave me to go shopping with, and the whole time he just wanted to rob me.
Well, maybe the purse snatching was part of his plan to get your house keys.
Well, I know that, but why did he give me the keys back?
Well, that's obvious, so that you wouldn't be alarmed and you wouldn't take any precautions.
Oh. But then the whole thing got messed up because Geraldine came over. And then he had to hit her over the head. And if anything happens to her, I'll just die.
Honey, if anything happens, it's not your fault. It's my fault for having left you here alone in this house.
Don't you ever leave me alone again.
I won't. I promise. The police. Yeah, look, I better go downstairs and tell them what's happened.
Okay.
How bad is it? Was she unconscious when you got here?
Out like a light, Doc. But she's alive. We'll get her into X-ray to find out what's what.
We got a neurologist standing by?
Dr. Peterson's been notified.
Good, that's who I was going to call.
And no secondary injuries as far as we could tell, just that knock on her head.
It might be enough.
Yeah, well, I'll call Peterson myself in an hour. Tell him this is a very special case. Go on, get out of here.
Let's go, Sam.
He's hitting the midsection.
Yeah, what, shotgun?
Looks like it, both barrels.
Bag the hands and feet just to make sure.
Hello, Chief. Dr. Kaplan. Strange, isn't it? A couple of weeks ago, we're having a wedding party here. Now this.
It's Romeo Slade, all right, Chief. Here's the ID he was carrying.
Okay. Mr. Whitney, do you know Calvin Stoner?
And we've met.
He's in charge of this case. He'll be your police contact.
Gentlemen, well, I'm wondering if it'd be possible to spare my wife any questions this evening. She's had rather a bad time of it.
You look a little pale yourself, Mr. Whitney.
Yeah, well, it's been a kind of rough experience for all of us. I suppose you know I'm the one that did that.
This is your shotgun?
Yeah, it is. I used to hunt, and when we moved in here, I didn't like the idea of keeping a gun in the house, so I've been leaving it in the garage.
Mr. Whitney, we understand you've been out of town. You and your servant, Gunther Wagner.
Yes, where is Gunther?
As far as I know, he's still in Chicago. That's where I left him a couple hours ago.
Isn't that a little odd for you to return and leave your employee behind?
Well, I mean, come to think of it, he may be on a commercial jetliner coming back here now. You see, I decided to come back. I chartered a plane, and it was a nice little jet, but it was a two-seater.
Sounds like you were very anxious to get back.
Yes, I was. See, I had a telephone conversation with my wife, Raven. And she sounded very upset and frightened at being alone in the house, and I began feeling guilty about leaving her, and I'm not ashamed to say, very lonely. We've only been married a few weeks, you know.
Yes, we know.
And so I realized that it was a stupid idea to plan a business trip so soon after our honeymoon, and I felt guilty after having spoken with her and decided to come back.
What made you go into the garage for the gun? What gave you the impression that something was wrong in the house?
If I said that I had a feeling, Detective, would that sound stupid?
No.
Well, I was coming up the driveway, and about halfway up, I noticed there was a reflection in the woods, and it wasn't right. It didn't belong there, and I stopped and I investigated, and there was a car half hidden in the trees. And then by the time I got up to the front of the house, there was another car here in front of
Geraldine's car.
Yeah.
The other one must have been Romeo Slade's then.
So instead of coming into the house, I stopped at the garage. I got the gun. I just had a feeling that something was wrong. And I got to the front door and I pushed it open. And there was a man holding a gun on my wife. That man. And he turned around and I didn't even think about my next actions. I just pulled both triggers. Look, gentlemen, if it's at all possible, I'd like to spare my wife any questions this evening. Can we do that?
I think we can wait until morning. Of course, we're going to have to talk to you again at some greater length, get a statement out of you. You realize, of course, this is not just simple breaking and entering. This is a homicide. Situations like this, they usually call it justifiable, but...
You know, I've just killed a man. I've just taken another man's life. I never thought I'd ever do that.
apparently saved someone else's life. Isn't a better thing to know that?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
They all go away?
Yeah. Go on.
Good.
Well, listen, you're not going to have to answer any questions, not tonight, anyway. It'll be a lot easier in the daylight.
Is Geraldine okay?
Well, she's probably in the hospital by now. Dr. Kavanaugh said that he'd let me know if there's any news.
Dr. Kavanaugh was here, too.
Yeah, he was here, and Chief Mallory, there was a whole bunch of... Oh, yeah. And the doctor gave me these, the sedative. He said it'd calm your nerves and make it easy to sleep if you want.
No, I don't want to take those. I don't want to sleep. I want to breathe and be awake and feel alive.
You're going to feel alive. And you're going to feel healthy, and you're going to be very happy.
It was a nightmare. And everything was going along pretty well, too. And then it all had to go wrong.
Not anymore, Raven. Not after tonight. After tonight, everything is going to be perfect for you. I promise.
Did you see what he did to your study? He saw that it was locked and thought there might be some valuables in there and blew the lock off.
It's okay. Locks can be repaired.
Can everything be repaired?
Yes.
I think I will take one of these. There's a lot I would like to forget.
No, you were right, Raven. This isn't a time for sleeping. This is a time for talking. I've got something I want to talk to you about.
What?
I want to talk to you about a man named Jeff. Jeff Brown.